What is up, everybody? Today, I'll be bringing you a tier list where I'll be ranking the top 10 Virus Digimon, in my opinion, for competitive battles in the Digimon Vital Bracelet arena. I have a link to this tier list in the description if you guys want to use it yourself, but basically what I've done is I've gathered a large number of the more competitive Virus Digimon that are offered on the Vital Bracelet app. What I'll be doing is I'll be going over all of them, going over a lot of their stats, going over all of their abilities and what make them unique, and then from there, I might even go over some of their evolution lines and stuff like that. So if you guys want to see more tier lists like this where I rank all of the top 10 best vaccines, free datas, or even just the best mons in the game, think about letting me know. And without further ado, let's just get on into this. I had a brief idea of where I would want to start here, but I want to say as a preface, the abilities are what is going to be determining what are some of the best virus mons in the game, as opposed to just the base stats. There are some mons that have like absolutely amazing stats, like let's just pull up for example, let's just pull up this one right here. This is from the Angoramon, sorry, the Jellymon dim. This is one of the endgame mons in the Jellymon dim. And if you see its stat line here, like 6,500 BP is amazing, 5,000 HP is a little low but acceptable, and 2,100 is great. But the Jellymon dim, for example, doesn't really have like the best abilities because it's a pretty, dated dim. The best thing it has is like raises ally characters double attack by like 12%, or can raise your HP by like 15% if you have a very specific ally. These abilities have been power creeped a lot, so it doesn't even make the list, even though it has like really good stats. I think where I'm gonna start off on the tier list is actually with a fan favorite. Ranking number 10, I'm gonna put Black War Greymon, and Black War Greymon is actually like a really cool mon. If we take a look at let's take a look back at this and come up here. Black War Greymon's going to be right here. And so if we take a look at its stat line, 5,800, 53, 2,000, it actually has pretty decent attack for being like, a relatively underutilized mon, but 5,300 HP is definitely acceptable. 5,800 BP is definitely great. And the reason why it stands out is because this dim comes from the white and yellow D3. And we scroll down, it's the Adventure Mode Clear. Right, Adventure Mode Clear Stage 11 right here. So it comes with a bunch of like other really good perks. One of those being the D3 yellow ability pool, which is going to be right here, scrolling all the way down. And basically having the ability Sap Life is one of like the best abilities in the game. And so that big 20% Sap Life, not the like 15% one on some of the older dims, it's gonna be really good. You also have the like chance to, even if you want to use one of these abilities to raise your AP by a lot, if your opponent has very specific teammates, it's definitely usable. And so like being able to Sap Life them makes this guy actually really good. It's a really good closer. 2,000 AP is nice, 5,800 BP is really good, and you giving a 20% dip to your opponent's main HP stat. That's a really good mon. This is a good closer mon. Definitely a fan favorite, and definitely have to include it on this list. So really good stuff. Starting off number 10, pretty strong. The next one I'm going to do is probably going to be the Blitz Greymon. I know it's really hard to see. Blitz Greymon from the 25th anniversary dim. That's going to be over, let's just pull it up, 25th anniversary dim right here. If we take a look at this guy's stat line, I'm going to put this guy in a very similar vein to War Greymon, but I just think it's a little bit better. It's the top end clear up here. So Blitz War Greymon, you can see this guy right here. It has 5,900 BP, which is nice, 5,300, and then 2,000. So it's a very similar stat line. But I would say that like having a little bit higher HP is definitely going to put this guy over the threshold. I think War Greymon had, let's see, it had 58, so it has a little bit higher HP. And I would say the ability is better on the War Greymon, but if we come all the way up here to the 25th anniversary dim, we can see it. You can get a BP raise of 20% on a mon that already has like relatively high BP. 5,900. So actually like multiplying a higher number. And I think that's another thing that we're going to see like come into play. You can get really good damage multipliers through the use of these ability pools, right? Being able to give like a 20%, a 15, 25, 30% boost. If you're giving a boost to an even higher number, you're getting an even higher roll, right? So like a 20% boost to, like a 6,000 versus a 20% boost to like a 7,000 is like so much more than just like a 30% boost to some other random number. So I actually think just like because we're boosting a much higher number with a higher multiplier, it just makes this mon just a little bit better than the Black War Greymon. And still, it's definitely viable. I think it's the best mon from the 25th anniversary dim. So that's just where I'm going to put this guy. I'm going to put him at number 9. I think going into number 8, let's see. I think I'm probably going to end up putting Chaosdramon at number 8. I think that's how you pronounce this guy's name. Might just be Chaosmon. I think he comes from the Dorumon dim. And we scroll down here just a little bit. No, it's not the Doraemon dim. Is it the Ryudomon dim? It's around here somewhere. Where is Chaosmon? What dim does that guy come from? You know, I normally know a lot of this stuff, but I'm trying to remember. It's not the Lugamon dim. Is it Lugamon dim? No, sorry, I was right the whole time. I said Doraemon dim and I just started off on Luga. Yeah, I said it, I was right. Okay, cool. It's the Doraemon dim, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna put it from here on the Doraemon dim. And the reason is, like, if you take a look at this guy's stat line, 4,900 BP is like really low, but like 6,100 and 2,000 are great. 6,100 HP is great, 2,000 is great. And the ability pool on the Doraemon dim, if you actually take a look at it down here, it raises your BP by 30% if you have the same attributes. So if you're in a double virus core, you can actually get that 30% boost, which is a good multiplier. But remember what I was just talking about with the Blitz Greymon, how it's good that Blitz Greymon's multiplying a higher number? Well, this is giving a 30% boost to a lower number, being 4,900. And so it's not as good, but like a 6,100, 2,000, like other stat line, so good. I mean, this mon's definitely viable. I think it's better than a lot of the other ones, like, you know, the Machine Dramon or that mon that we started out looking at from the Jellymon dim. So I would definitely say this guy's definitely usable, but it's like the fringe areas. We're starting, like, these guys are all still usable down here, but like I would say all the ones up here are the ones you definitely want to be using first. So that being said, where are we going next? I think I'm probably going to put the full Jogress from the Gamamon line dim next. That's going to be up here. And if we take a look at it, scrolling around. If you guys disagree with my list or feel that, like, you know, I forgot to add something, or, you know, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know. Definitely down to start a discussion. This guy's, again, a Virus Super Ultimate. 6,500, 49, 2,000. This guy's good. Like, this guy is good. But there are a couple other options. 6,500 BP is great. 4,900 HP is low. 2,000 attack points is good. The BE pool here basically gives you a 25% boost to your own HP. So it's a little bit power crept, but I do think that it's definitely still viable. Again, it's giving a multiplier, which isn't as high as some of the other dims in this you know, the game, to an already lower number. So it's viable, but it's not like absolutely amazing. And I think it's a solid mon for sure, but there's something you actually see people use more than this that comes from the same dim, and that's where I'm going to put it number 6, and it is right here, right? Arcturusmon. And so if we actually take a look at like Arcturusmon versus the Proximi, I always forget how to pronounce this guy, Proximimamon. So Proximimamon had a 65, 49, 2,000. Versus a 62, 52, 2,000. So you're actually losing 300 BP and taking that 300 BP and putting it straight into your HP stat. And then you're also multiplying from the ability that this guy gets is to multiply its HP even more. So you're increasing the multiplier that you get from your ability by using this guy. So this guy's the best Virus Mon in the dim. I also think like other Mons in the dim, like if we're just talking about like Vaccine Mons, like this guy's also just like really good. Serious Mon is just really solid Mon for sure. But yeah, yeah, I think Arcturusmon is just a little bit better than its fully Jogressed form, and it's definitely viable. Like, you see this guy pop up in a lot of, like, tournaments that feature unique mons and stuff like that. This thing always actually takes a couple places, and a lot of those, like, end-of-the-month tournaments as well. People like using this guy a lot. It's definitely a viable mon, in my opinion. So now we're getting into the top 5. This is, like, where all the really good stuff go. Let me try and think. Okay, we got some good options here. I'm gonna put this guy right here. This guy's going right here. This is from the Angoramon dim. This is the best virus from that dim, in my opinion. And scroll over here. This is the right here. So let's see, 64, 6,000, 2,000. That's like cracked. If we compare a couple other mons that are still virus in there, we have 67, 5,000, 1950. I feel like having 6,000 HP, a whole 1,000 HP more, makes this guy like nuts. This is probably one of the best stat lines in the game. Like if we were to sort things by just like HP, this guy like has all the stats. Grand Dracumon, right? He has literally all of it. The problem with this mon is like, I think the Angoramon dim has like some of the worst ability pools in the game. Their best ability can lower damage for receive Novavax by 12%. It's cool because he's a tank, but, you know, it also lowers own, so it has to be him eating the double attack, which is, like, hard to do in the first place. And you can get an HP boost, but you have to have a very specific ally. You can get an AP boost if you have to correct stuff, but like I just don't really like this Dim's ability pool that much. So it's a great mon. Like it has better stats than like a bunch of the other guys in like second and third and fourth, but like its ability pool really lets it down. So going into fourth, I think I'm gonna put this guy at fourth, and this one I'm trying to remember what Dim this comes from. It might be like a D3 white and yellow or the white and red. We're gonna find out. It might be white and yellow. I think it might be. I'm right again. All right, cool. So remember how we have Black War Greymon at 10th? This guy's just a much better Black War Greymon. It has like 1,000 more BP. It has like 600 more HP, right? It has like a 50 to 100 more attack. So it's just a much better virus mon than Black War Greymon. It's like Black War Greymon again had 58, 53, 2,000. This has almost 1,000 more, 100 more, and 100 more. So it's just a much better mon. And again, it still utilizes that same ability pool that's so good on the white and yellow, which is that Sap Life. So I think this guy's definitely just a better mon. Black War Greymon is definitely cooler, right, in every way. But, you know, this guy's just going to be a little bit better at Belil Van Demon, right? It's a cool mon, a very cool mon. And now we're into the top three. These are the ones that you should be actively like trying to use if you're going to be playing like competitive battles, in my opinion. And for the third one, I'm actually going to add Magna Kidmon. I think Magna Kidmon is going to be a really good mon, and it comes from a really good ability pool. If we were to look at the ability pool, this is going to be coming from the Draconic Blaze Dim. So it's going to give its teammate a 20% HP boost. So you can actually use this mon to like buff up a teammate that actually really needs an HP boost. You can put it on like a Lugamon, you can put it on like an Alpha mon. It's just going to be really solid. So if we take a look at it's going to be right over here. Draconic Blaze Dim, I think. Yep, Draconic Blaze Dim. And if we plug it in over here, it's going to be Magna Kidmon. Look at this guy's stat line. 63, 58, 2,000. Super solid. Great BP. Really solid HP with like a 2,000 AP attack. Like this guy's going to be really good. And again, this ability pool is like really good. You can also even raise your own HP if you have like the right ability, right? So it can boost its own HP or its teammates. So I think that like there's nothing ever really wrong with like pulling from the Draconic Blaze Dim or even the Rampage of the Beast Dim if you have options for stuff like that. And so now we're into the top two. And there's still a lot of really good mons here, I think. For top two, I'm going to put Tyrant Kabuterimon at number 2. And Tyrant Kabuterimon is the absolute perfect example of like not great abilities on like a really stacked mon. It's going to be in the Forest Guardians Dim. And it's one of my favorite mons. But if you plug down here, it's the full super ultimate from that dim. Tyrant Kabuterimon, 68, 64, 2,000. I think this mon has like the best stat line in the game. Maybe there's like one other mon that has a better stat line. But like its ability really does let it down. That is such a cracked stat line. We were looking at like the Grand Dracomon. It has like more stats than everything in every like regard. It has more HP, more BP, and I think they have the same attack, but that's just such a good stat line. The ability pool for this dim looks like its best one is lowers own double attack damage by 20%, which is not great. I even think some of these other abilities that like raise your own HP or BP, even though they're not as strong as some of the other mons on this list, like it's just this Tyrant Kabuterimon so strong, you actually double dip down into those like like 15%, 25% boost just, and it's still good. It's still good. I think like Tyrant Kabuterimon with this one, if you want to use like a free teammate, it's actually still viable, but yeah, most people just go with the 20% damage mitigation on double attack. Really solid mon. Tyrant Kabuterimon's great. And we're down to the number 1 spot, and it's actually going to be a tie. I'm going to put the Lugamon Super Ultimate and Lugamon up there, and you may be thinking like, oh man, Tyrant Kabuterimon's probably better than regular Lugamon, and I don't think it is. You know, this is a mon we didn't need. This is the full Jogress with the Pulsemon Dim, and I don't think we actually needed it. So let's take a look at some of these mons and talk about why they are so broken. So this is going to be, let's take a look at just the Pulsemon Dim because it has both them on there. But these come from the Lugamon Dim or the Pulsemon Dim, right? Let's take a look at this guy first. So this is the regular Fenrir Lugamon. So 68, 55, 21, so massive attack stat. Decent HP, more than decent, and great BP. And then the Jogress version, which you Jogress with Kazuchimon, 7,061, 2050. So it's better than Tyrant Kabuterimon, right? It's better, and it gets to pull from the ability pools of both the Pulsemon Dim or the Lugamon Dim. So let's take a look at both of those ability pools over here. So if we pull the Lugamon Dim, all of these abilities are good. Raises own AP by 30% if you pair it with the same attribute mon. Raises Allocator's AP by 20%. All of these are even so good if you want to double dip down into like looking at using one that is relying on an opponent's a dim, but like these top 2 abilities are really the best abilities in the game on some of the highest stat mons in the game. Going down into the Pulse Mon dim 2, you have a weaker stat life at 15% if you want to use it, which is still viable. You can even like, I would never use this one because you are never going to have a lower HP, since this thing has like the highest stats in the game at like 7,000 or 68 or whatever the HP is. But honestly, like just using all the ability pools from the Lugumon dim allows this thing to just like basically be a cut above the rest. Like these 2 mons, like Examon and Alphamon, are like some of the best mons in the game. And so I would say they definitely are going to take any virus spots you should be using on teams, but there are tech reasons why you might want to use like a Kabuterimon or a Magnakidmon, in my opinion, if you need those additional abilities or stat lines from those other dims. Like if you are really worried about double attacks, you would use the Kabuterimon. If you did want a teammate to get a boost in HP, you would use the Magnakidmon. But for the most part, like these guys are going to be the ones you should be using in pretty much every single situation. So hopefully you guys like this tier list. Let me know if you agree. Like I said, there's a link to this tier list. These are also good mons, but like I showed, a lot of the mons on this list just get outvalued by other mons that are on the same dims. I think like most of the mons get, like King Edamon's cool, but like there are just better mons on his same dim. This guy's cool, there are other mons on the same dim. Same thing goes for like Rush Tyrannomon. Same thing goes for this mon from the Pulse Mon dim. There's just better mons on the same dim. They're good in like draft leagues and stuff like that, where we're going to see people have very specific rule sets, but they just don't really make the cut. I think things like these 2 might have made the cut almost. Honorable mentions over here, but these guys have the right abilities, they have the right stat lines, and I think these are the top 10, 11 best Virus Digimons for competitive battles in the Vital Bracelet Arena. Let me know your list in the comments, and other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out, and I'll see you guys next time.